is blank. My brain is my brain is blank. Okay, so I just want to preference this video first before you watch it to just say that I was attempting to do a video that was going to discuss literal thinking and receptive language disorder, and it just kind of started off as a normal video, and then it just continuously kind of went. So beautiful.
I made a rainbow.
You did.
Oh.
Rainbow.
Rainbow.
And it continued to go, and I started to get overwhelmed, and instead of stopping, I kept going. I wanted to share that with you guys because people have been asking, and so it just kind of just ended up spiraling out. So I just wanted to say that really quick. So that's what you're going to see. Hey you guys, so today I want to talk about something that so many of us experience, especially if we have autistic children. Whether they're nonverbal, minimally minimal verbal, or just learning to communicate. It's those moments when we ask just a simple question. It's those moments where we ask just a simple question and get a surprising or unrelated answer, or no answer at all. And I don't know about you guys, but it makes me wonder sometimes, like, does my daughter understand me? Does she know what I'm saying? Or is there like something else going on that I'm not understanding? So let's start with receptive language. You guys have heard me talk about this before. I know a lot of you guys have had quite a bit of questions about, what that is, what it means, and how that relates to somebody being nonverbal. I think a lot of people get confused what nonverbal is and what being mute is. And so I was feeling confident at this point and thought it had passed, because it does happen sometimes, and usually I'm able to get through those hiccups quickly. I am here to clear that gap. I want to help you guys kind of understand our situation, our journey, because I know that in doing so that it can help guide some of you guys throughout your journey. So receptive language is just a fancy way to explain how our brain processes. So receptive language is just a fancy way to explain how our brain understands people. So receptive language is just a fancy way to process. Receptive language is just a fancy word. Receptive language is just a fancy way of saying. This is when I knew it was coming, because my hands were starting to sweat. How our brain understands what people say to us. How our brain understands what people say to us. Receptive language is just a fancy way of saying how our brain understands what people say to us. So this means that some autistic children this just means that they may not understand questions, directions, the way that we expect. This means they may not understand This means they may not understand questions or directions in the way that we expect it. Confusing, overwhelming. So even simple things like where is your shoes could sound very confusing to somebody that is even simple things like asking where are your shoes can sound very confusing or overwhelming for somebody that has receptive language delay or disorder. Now, here is another thing that I believe that shows up when it comes or that is related to receptive language disorder is literal thinking. So I'll say this like pure example, like I'm autistic and I am a literal thinker, and a lot of things like sarcasm or sarcasm. So I'm autistic and I'm also a literal thinker. So things like sarcasm or metaphors, like such things, like I'll take them very, very literal. Like it's very hard for me to read between the lines of things. Like what you say is what I'm going to take it for. And I think a lot of people kind of get that mistaken with me being difficult or somebody difficult to like explain things to or to be able to work with. And I know that that's probably one of the biggest things in my marriage. So when it comes to neurotypical people dating neurodiverse people, I think that that can be a very, very strong barrier when it comes to communication, because communication is one of the number one things in any type of relationship that you want to have grounded. And so I find myself like not understanding a lot of what he tells me, or like if he's showing me something or if he's teaching me something, I take things very literal. And he's somebody that likes to exaggerate things and really be creative and really tell a story, and I'm going to take it very, very literal, which confuses me. It gets overwhelming. Like I have to stop, I have to pause, I need you to like stop talking so that I can catch up and kind of understand. But I think that frustrates somebody that's neurotypical, or just somebody that does not have or that does not understand literal thinking. It can be really difficult to maintain relationships. So with Miko, this is something that has been something that I've really been trying to study and understand, because at first, like, I didn't understand the difference between receptive language and literal thinking. And I think the main difference when it comes to that, or what makes it confusing for a lot of people, is that sometimes a child can understand the words that you're saying, but they don't understand the intent behind it. And I think that that's probably another thing that I also have to deal with when it comes to my son that is 11 and autistic. He's on a different side of the spectrum than Miko, is that he will also take things very literal in a sense. And I think like, I so lost my point there. I did have it written down, but I don't have that part where I was going. Okay. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm going to try to repeat it to see if I can remember. So sometimes a child does understand the word, but they don't understand the intent behind it. I don't know where I was going with that. Okay. Okay, if I remember what I was going to say, I will circle back to that, but I don't think that I am. I think I've completely lost that thought. And that happens a lot. I don't know. Okay, so the story time, I can't do that because I can't go back to that. Okay, so the difference between receptive language and literal thinking. I think this part is like really what kind of, sometimes it's process things and process like what they say to me, and I don't even know where this video is going. I didn't, like, I see it, but I don't know. I just write down bullet points and I don't know how, like, where I was going with this next part. I don't, um, my brain is blank. My brain is br- my brain my brain is blank. Sometimes a child does understand the words, but not the intent behind the question. And I went on to talk about Matthew and his experience with understanding the intent behind a question. Why, though? Why was I about to tell that story? I don't even know what the story was. Taking language very literal. Meltdowns aren't a flaw in autism. They're a signal that too much has been carried, masked, or ignored. If you've ever had one, I see you. You're not broken, you're responding exactly how a sensitive, overwhelmed body responds to too much. If this video made you feel seen or helped you understand someone you love, thank you for being here. Keep holding space, keep listening. We're not too much, we've just had too much.